time. So, you know, like I said, probably not going to see any of these teams do it. It's a pretty risky pick, but hey, it makes it fun.
I mean, he is generally amusing, right? That little spicy Swedish meatball when he goes molten core, that right click can be something else.
Well, here we go. We got the teams in. We're ready to go. Luminosity versus Immortals in our second semi-final. One of these teams looking to move ahead here into the finals, as I said, to take on Complexity. And so we will have Luminosity starting off on the offensive side. And if we take a look at what team comps Immortals are rocking here, we do have actually Grim playing. We do have Grim playing the Zarya so far, and Hype will be on D.Va as he normally is, and Agilities is going to be your man on the Tracer. Switching things up a little bit, still generally, you know, the same guys playing these DPS roles.
Ethan opting for Zenyatta in this circumstance, with a number of tanks that we see here on Luminosity going for what is colloquially kind of just the regular power comp, although a switch here for Zenyatta over Ana in the kind of what would be standard here. Immortals playing a more forward defense than we've seen a lot of teams do, just getting a little bit of damage, a little bit of resistance, buying a little bit of time from the high ground there, then falling back to the server room while Luminosity pushing up under the bridge.
Starting to work their way through. Just getting it up there. We should be seeing a team fight any moment now. And in terms of shield break capability, you will have Luminosity with the better shield breaking capability because they have crew on that soldier, but he's getting hunted down by Hyped right now. Agilities is able to take down Hedan to start things off. And Immortals already with the picks. Look at this. Agility's running through, just getting the cleanup on Tracer as he finishes off Super Block, and that will be Immortals hanging on for now as Luminosity looking to regroup. Still the very early stages here on Gibraltar.
1 minute off the clock already. Luminosity's going to want to keep every second they can. If our previous match showed us anything, every second matters. You got to get that card as far as possible. A number of different points, pretty much a guaranteed after you get it. Holding from the server room, Immortals going to have to counter push into the depths of Luminosity here as they're fighting underneath the bridge.
Here we go. Icefeld in the thick of things, just spraying away, but they lost Ethan early on, Immortals. So this is the time for Luminosity to make their push, to make this one work. And they do have Nami sitting back there just waiting for Ethan to come back up. He has Transcendence at the ready, and he will use it to engage onto Luminosity to try and stop this point. And there is going to be a sound barrier out in the back on the side of Luminosity. Still no picks yet. Self-destruct flying up into the sky, though, from Icefeld, or from Hyped, excuse me. He's able to take down Crew, and Spree will be able to get one, and Super Block gets Nami as well. The Earth Shatter comes out, and Luminosity looking very strong here. Whole hog from Spree is going to clean up onto Grim Reality and Ethan. Luminosity should be able to grab this first point. You have the Immortals players filtering through slowly but surely, trying to stall as long as possible. Agilities was the last one there. He goes down. And Luminosity will get the first point in still 4 minutes and 10 seconds to get up to the next point. Oh, what a hook. There was a bubble onto Ethan, but he's stuck too far in. He should be falling any second now. There it is, Spree getting the nice stagger onto Ethan. There, Luminosity should have a bit more free ground here to continue to move this payload.
Immortals trying to delay, but potentially causing a lot more problems for themselves. They could have delayed a little bit better on the other side of those doors, but giving up that territory, trying to force early, getting a further spawn. Two of their teammates a little bit more forward here. Luminosity taking the high ground already. The cart keeps moving. Immortals giving up a lot of territory very, very quickly here.
And Icefeld will be just running around. There is a Graviton Surge out from Grim Reality. There's not a whole lot of follow-up to come from it, though, as the Nano Boost will be used onto the Reinhardt, and he's not really moving forward all that much with an Earth Shatter coming out as well. There's the self-destruct from Hype, able to find 3 picks. That is a big self-destruct indeed. And that will be Immortals taking that fight as Luminosity having to regroup. 3 minutes left for them to get this second point.
Immortals losing a number there to that self-destruct. Self-destruct, Icefeld placing it right in the center of Nami's shield, causing him problems. He had to let down his shield to back up, I believe, to try and actually save himself, costing the rest of his team. There's kind of a tricky situation there for Nami, just a very well-placed self-destruct on Icefeld's part. Luminosity coming underneath the bridge. Immortals going to have to drop down on top. Luminosity looking good so far. Nami's isolated.
we go, Agility's in the back line, and here's Super Block as he's just swinging away. Takes down Verbo, 2 already in favor of Luminosity. The Earth Shatter coming through as well. Oh, and he's gonna shove Ethan into the wall. Mineral was actually able to clean up on that first, but Luminosity coming through strong on that next push, and they will cap the second point. Immortals going to have to reposition here. Grim Reality, I believe, got the forward spawn, and he just had to jump off the side. He could have been staggered quite badly, so just trying to reset and get with the rest of his team. Luminosity off to a pretty good start on Gibraltar here, though. 3 minutes and 30 to get through to the last point.
Wise thing to do to reset your spawn there. It's very, very difficult to make it up all the way that hill after everybody is pouring through that gate. It's a tricky situation a lot of people get caught on, but meanwhile, Immortals regroup. They are mounting a hold here. Same place we saw the cart get stuck in our first game. Self-destruct landing in the backfield of Immortals. Does not convert into any kills. Luminosity still getting some forward progress. They are getting it around the corner. That might be just enough for them. We'll see as Immortals backing off. Sorry, Luminosity backing off, allowing Immortals to step forward here a little bit, just reassessing the fight, looking for that opening. So far, both teams just dancing back and forth with the shield game. Krill, very, very close to high power. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. An Earth Shatter coming out, getting blocked by Super.
There is going to be a big block on that Earth Shatter. Self-destruct came through. There is going to be the Graviton out, and Super Block is just running forward. Oh, the Pulse Bomb from Agilities finishes him off, though. Luminosity still hanging onto this cart for now. That respawn point of Immortals is just so close, though, so there's really not much that Luminosity can do with a couple down. Immortals will get their players back onto the field much quicker and into the fight, so they will be backing up, getting everybody together, and they'll be able to push through with Super Blocks. He'll have his Earth Shatter. Spree will soon have a Whole Hog. Icefeld even with a Self-Destruct and Mineral Sound Barrier coming up very shortly. So Luminosity, if they can get these ults charged up, they could be looking good. But here comes the Graviton out from Grim Reality. There will be a Sound Barrier on the side of Luminosity to keep his team healthy and prevent them from falling. And the fight ensues here. Here comes the Earth Shatter, able to find Grim Reality in that. Not all that much else, but he's going to be hunting down Verbo and finds him as well. Super Block with 2, and there will be 3 picks in total on the side of Luminosity as they continue to press through. Immortals is going to have to pull something quick, and there's the Whole Hog to just shut them out of spawn. He's keeping them all off the cart. What a play from Spree. Agilities is going to get on it to stop it last second. There is the Transcendence. An Earth Shatter coming through from Nami in the back. That is huge. Gets a lot of players down with it. They trade 2 for 2 thus far in the fight. Self-destruct on the point. Hype's able to take down Mineral as well. They're still hanging on here, Immortals, but Luminosity still striking back with a few. That respawn is so close, as I was saying before, from Immortals, so they can get back onto this cart. The Sombra even comes out from Grim Reality. He just wanted to get back onto the point as soon as he could, but Immortals is going to be able to hang on. 1 minute left for Luminosity.
Grim's going to go back and switch off that Sombra, just trying to get a little bit of speed to come back onto that point. It was a successful hold for Immortals by a hair. Agility's doing a great job trying to keep Super out of the back line. He does have another Pulse Bomb here that he could try on, but Super so far being an absolute beast on Reinhardt. Shutting him down is going to be a key for Immortals.
Well, Crew coming through with the Graviton Surge. The beat was dropped by Verbo, but he went down in the end anyway by Crew. Luminosity comes back with 3 of their own, though, as they will just be able to plow through. Look at this, Immortals. There's a Self-Destruct up in the air. The shield's there. And Icefeld using that to no avail, and there is 25 seconds. Luminosity needs to get everyone together, get them together quick, and make one final push, or Immortals will be holding them.
That's a lot of ultimates to use to not get a conversion. Meanwhile, Icefeld losing an ultimate to switch to Diva here, almost a nano boost out of Hedon. That's going to be very huge here in the last point, still with a Self-Destruct. Getting very close on the side of Immortals. Meanwhile, Transcendence
Grim Reality
moments
in the back,
away.
though, he's just pounding damage into these guys, and they are going to be dishing it out. Look at this, 2 already in for Immortals. Hyped and company able to grab 2, and there's Nami yet again. Luminosity is looking to go down here. They're already 4 out of this fight. It's only the supports left. Immortals will be hanging on to that last point, and they will be able to hold as they head on over to the offensive side. Pretty strong stuff coming out from Immortals.
If you want to see some great Reinhardt play, keep an eye on Super. He has been, oh, here we go. Perfect, perfect. Right there with a Fire Strike coming in with a charge. He has just been an absolute presence here so far on Gibraltar. Just watching him winning the shield game a lot of the times, getting the Earth Shatters in the right place, saving people. There's one moment there, getting close to the final point. He blocked an Earth Shatter, then immediately 180'd, blocked a self-destruct, then tried to keep Tracer off one of his teammates. Tracer put a pulse bomb on him and went down, pretty much stalling out the rest of the momentum for Luminosity. Super being such a huge part of that, not just because of the shield, but because of how great of a play he was putting forward.
And now take a look at how Immortals is going to their offensive side. All they need to do is just make the card as far as Luminosity did, and which was essentially to the last point. So we see what Luminosity's bringing out on the defensive side. Yeah,
it was close. I mean,
close.
Those final meters, every meter matters, every second matters. I mean, that's something that's very obvious here in Overwatch, but they did get around that final corner, so they won't be in that same situation we saw earlier. They will have a position to hold from if all goes wrong and they give up the second point. However, the first point being one of the easier ones to hold here, well, I don't know if that quite holds true so much anymore. We've seen a lot of that get broken so far.
Yeah, we have seen it. There was one of the matches earlier. It's escaping my mind at the moment, but we did see a full hold on first.
That was Immortals. Immortals full hold against Spicy Boys.
Yes, that's right. It was full hold. So
seeing some of that defensive capability out of Immortals already. They will be on offense this time. Perhaps the dive comp that we saw a little bit out of them from before.
That double DPS that they were showing earlier today, Grim Reality and Agilities.
Dive comp was Luminosity. I'm losing my mind here.
We're all losing our minds. But here we go. Luminosity is going to be on the defense now, and they have a quad tank setup as they want to try and hold as best as possible. Very beefy, but you have double DPS out from Immortals. We'll see how well it works against this quad tank. Sedan will just be sitting up top, giving the heals out to his teammates. There's not a whole lot of vertical upwardness, so to speak, from Immortals other than hyped. And look at that, pulling in the man himself. Right off the bat is Spree.
Oh, Super going down to Hyped in the back line.
Oh my, Spree and Super both go down. Hyped is able to get 3. Where did this come from? 4 from Hyped. He is just cleaning up on players left and right. He wants another one yet. Grim Reality is the one who finishes it, but man, Hyped with 4 on that initial fight.
The combined hit scan power of Agility Soldier 76, Grim Reality on Tracer, and Hyped playing D.Va, one of the only tanks that can actually get headshots. I believe it's Roadhog, the only other one. That's just absolutely devastating. Super going down again, both of them getting forward spawned here in a very tough situation. Going down, that's going to open up this first few meters onto the second point for Immortals as they push through. They do have 3, almost 5 ultimates in the bank. Meanwhile, Luminosity barely getting 1, perhaps 2 if you count Icefeld's self-destruct, which I certainly will. We saw him use it pretty well earlier. If he lands in the right spot on Nami, Nami's going to be stuck in another tough situation, but that is a difficult thing to do. Super taking the high ground along with the rest of them. Luminosity dropping down with a nano boost.
Grim Reality coming through on the backside as well. He has the pulse bomb at the ready, and he's just going to be dishing damage onto Hedan. Self-destruct comes through. Grim Reality is able to finally finish him off as he takes down Spree as well. A counter self-destruct, but not going to find anyone. 4 players out of the fight for Luminosity. Only 2 down on the side of Immortals, but they are hanging on. They have that 2-player advantage. Crew ended up going down. Ethan is doing work on Zenyatta, and Immortals just absolutely steamrolling right now through to the next point, and Luminosity is trying to come back out. One last shot at holding this one before they start working their way into last. Ethan eating Super block alive along with help of the pulse bomb, I believe it was. Grim Reality takes down Crew. Ethan getting yet another. He's been crucial on this second point, finding picks left and right, just dishing out the damage. Icefeld's still in. There's no one else around, and he should be falling very shortly.
Ethan, what a god. One after another, every single person he put his Discord on, just throwing them down one by one by one. A huge factor there in that last push. Absolutely no pressure on him whatsoever. Luminosity cannot leave him alone. He is already locked with another Transcendence. We have 4 ultimates on the side of Immortals. Hyped, Nami, Ethan, and Verbo. You combine that for quite a bit. Agilities and Grim Reality with their characters, they should get him very quick. I would not see a world where they're going to get held here. Those few meters might end up costing Luminosity this match.
Sound barrier for Immortals. They come through. 3 picks for Luminosity, 2 on the side of Immortals. Luminosity will have that 1-player advantage as they are trying to finish things off Immortals. It looks like they will have to back up for now, regroup themselves. They actually get a couple in return there. Crew going just a bit too far in.
3 ultimates out though for Immortals. That is a disaster for them. They wanted to keep every one of those to make sure they can get this final push. Grim Reality playing forward. Grim Reality looking for another pick. Sound Barrier coming out on the side of Luminosity. Nami all the way in the mix. He's going to go down. Grim Reality getting very close. Oh, Vape Nation, not a chance. Even with the Discord on, Grim Reality keeping the pressure up. The rest of Immortals trying to push that cart to those final few meters. Luminosity's going to have to mount a defense and get out of here quick.
Grim Reality keeping that good forward pressure onto Luminosity. The whole hog out from Spree. He couldn't get healed up though. He was so low. He had the nano boost on himself as well. Crew and Super both able to get a couple here as well. It's a even trades actually. Luminosity with 1 in their favor. Immortals won't have enough to continue this push. And it's 3 minutes and 50 seconds in total though. That is so much time for Immortals to work with.
Ethan still doing so much work, but Luminosity, Crew taking that Tracer, finding him in the back, that's going to be huge. If he can keep that pressure up, it's really going to decompose what Immortals been running so far, with Ethan playing such a huge factor with that Discord in the right places, and his accuracy with the projectile DPS is pretty intense. Nami in the front line, they're going to have to keep him alive a lot better than they've been doing so far. He keeps getting himself caught, isolated in the front, especially with Crew here on Tracer. That can be a huge problem for Reinhardt. Meanwhile, Reinhardt getting pulled in. Nami's going to go down again.
Ooh, and Hyped is really starting to lay in the damage. But here we go, a couple in favor of Luminosity. And Hyped will be out of his suit, should be taken care of quite quickly. Yes, Icefelt comes in to finish that man off. And Immortals having a bit of trouble through this last phase. It is quite tough to push when that defensive spawn is just so close. You need to, essentially get a full wipe.
3, almost 4 ultimates on the side of Luminosity. They are going to be able to mount a much better defense than they previously were in. 4, almost 5 on the side of Immortals. We're going to see a lot of exchanges here of ultimates in the next minute, maybe minute and a half. Nami stepping up again. Crew being absolutely devastating with that Tracer, and there's another example. A lot of hit points done, taken off those tanks. Crew trying to pressure Ethan. Ethan trying to stay alive.
Oh my goodness, 2 picks for Luminosity. Immortals just gonna have to back off again. Verbo may go down pretty late here. Yeah, Spree takes care of him and able to find Grim Reality. 2 Immortals just being stopped here. They can't move it any further and they might start to get themselves into some trouble if Luminosity keeps this kind of defense going. They still have 3 ultimates to work with though for Immortals, Earthshatter, as well as the Transcendence and the Tac Visor. Slowly starting to work in. Luminosity has 3 themselves. Self-destruct comes in, not able to find anything, just zones them out a little bit, gets Nami to drop that shield though. Here comes the Transcendence. There was some biotic grenades landing out, but there will be an Earthshatter out as well. Oh, that shield went up just in time, and he couldn't get anybody down with the Earthshatter. 1 is out of it on the side of Immortals though, and they at that player disadvantage. Ethan gets a return onto Spree though. Now as Immortals trying to mount their comeback here and get on in. Ethan still doing work. Agility's finished off Crew, but Luminosity is continuing to get the picks they need. They have the better positioning up top on this high ground as the cart just continues to move backwards. They need to mount a push here, Immortals.
Edan finding that last shot on Ethan as he was trying to get away. Ethan taking down Crew, coming right at him in the face. That's kind of a back and forth fight in between a well-played Zenyatta and a well-played Tracer. Tracer should win a lot of the time if she can get her shots done well, but a little bit of dancing and Zenyatta can take him out with a pretty solid headshot, a little bit of follow-up damage. Immortals trying to get around the corner here. They have a minute left on the clock to take this map, otherwise Luminosity is going to be taking Gibraltar away from them.
Oh goodness, Icefelt gets Nami off the start. I think a pulse bomb came in from Crew to help deal all the damage, and they were just finishing him off from there. Immortals really needs to make this work. They came into the 3rd point with almost, what, like 5 minutes to get this, and now they are down to just 35 seconds. This may be one of their last good attempts to really make the push happen. They are going to have to pull off something incredible off against Luminosity here. As Agility's just sitting up top on the high ground. He will use that Tac Visor. The Sound Barrier comes out to negate a lot of the damage of the Tac Visor. Luminosity already with 2 though. Crew and Icefelt take down Grim Reality, and Ethan Super moving forward takes down Nami. There's only 10 seconds left for Immortals to make something happen. Luminosity playing very aggressive, moving forward, not giving them any chance to go in and step on that cart and force overtime. That should be it. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to make it in time. Hype is there. He will stall it at least for now, using his defense matrix and will use that self-destruct as well to try and get someone, but he couldn't get it placed quite well enough. There was a sound barrier out as well from Verbo to try and keep Immortals in this fight. Agility's now switching over to the Genji, able to find two himself, taking down Crew and Mineral. 2 picks in favor of Immortals, but they need to keep this up for a lot longer to make this cap happen as they continue to move forward. Agilities is doing work, takes down Super Block as well, and he is just crushing these guys at the moment, giving Immortals hope as they continue to move this card forward. Luminosity is going to have respawns coming out in just a second. Nami has Earth Shatter at the ready. Grim Reality almost up on that Pulse Bomb, and here come the respawns of Luminosity. Earth Shatter comes out. No, that's a disaster for Immortals. He couldn't find anything with it. Does take Super Block into the wall, and he will just be swinging away with his hammer. The Nano Boost out from Hedan. They trade 1 for 1. It's a 5v5 fight. The self-destruct coming in from Icefeld is able to take down Verbo. Luminosity getting the picks here. This may be it for Immortals. They have 3 down. Luminosity with 2 down themselves. Nami and Grim Reality on the cart trying to do whatever they can to make it happen, but it will not. Luminosity holding on there. My goodness. That was something
so else. Agilities, what a beast on Genji, keeping that push alive. Borderline single-handedly coming in there in the overtime press, picking off 3, almost 4. I think it actually counts as 4. I mean, he did most of the damage, maybe getting a little bit of follow-ups on some of those, but wow, absolute monster. I mean, not a lot of the plays I saw to there, Agilities in particular, Athan being a destructive force for sure. On Zenyatta, Crew switching to Tracer in order to counteract that. Super in general being a great Reinhardt on the offense.
Yeah, you talked a lot about Athan there, but it was Agilities at the end with that Genji play. Such a clutch pick. It was amazing to watch the way that he was able to cut through this offense.
Here we go.
I'd love to have seen this maybe even a little bit earlier from him. He was just shredding through people. He was like absolutely shredding through
4?
people. Yeah, he...
4.
I would like to
4
see
basically 5, I mean.
Yeah, I would like to see it a little bit earlier. I mean, he made it work so well, but in the end, Luminosity, hangs on. So it was tight, man. Down to the wire. I mean, again, it got me sweating, so it's, you see the shine on my forehead.
You'd have to take a minute to catch your breath, man.
Seriously,
that was really intense, but yeah, Luminosity taking the first map.
Absolutely, and that final point on Gibraltar, eluding so many teams we've seen all season long so far, just in these qualifiers. What is it about this final point that's just so difficult for offenses?
I mean, first on the offense, you have to come in from the low ground up the hill to try and meet the guys at the corner, which, you know, in any shooting game, you know that high ground is where you want to be.
And unless it
gives you the advantage.
Unless you're coming over something from the side with, say, a Genji, you pretty much have one real solid path in. There's a side door that's pretty obvious to see the opponent of the enemy try and cross across that road to come in. So as a defense, you generally have a pretty good idea of where people are, unless there's something like a Genji or a Pharah or something that can kind of come up from above, take out a little bit of your backline. Genji showing that off for us. Agilities almost cleaning up all of that, but every meter matters there on that final point. And you imagine if they got in the same situation where they were held without coming around that corner, just like we saw in the first game, that would have been game over, gone straight over to Immortals.
Absolutely. So map number two is going to be Route 66, which is a map we have not seen yet on the Overwatch Winter Premiere. I'm excited to see how this one goes. How are you guys feeling about this one? Luminosity coming off the win. Are they going to continue on the hot streak, or is it going to be Immortals who are able to push through?
Well, Immortals played Route 66 earlier today and beat Spicy Boys on it. That was the third map that they won. Yes,
they won it, but they also won Gibraltar. And both of these have been Immortals picks so far. I mean, you called it to begin with. For Luminosity, it must be on somewhat of a hot streak if they're coming through Fnatic to get here. And so far, they're looking absolutely vicious. However, if Agilities is able to turn on what we just saw there in the final point, and Immortals is able to keep that kind of momentum going, it'll certainly be a very different game.
Yeah, and I mean, too, Immortals, they were so close there on Gibraltar, too. I mean, they started off incredibly strong. It was just that last point that they couldn't quite surmount, but I still think Immortals are looking really good. Luminosity just edging them out barely at the end, but
Immortals struggling with a little bit of their ultimate efficiency. I mean, it's hard to say exactly from the perspective and how fast everything was going from us while we're doing this, but it's hard to say exactly whether that was so much Luminosity doing a great job defending themselves or Immortals perhaps placing their ultimates or using them in the wrong place. I mean, they had a huge ultimate advantage with a lot of time left coming around that final bed of Gibraltar. They couldn't make that work. I mean, it's got to be a little bit of both, right? Immortals not necessarily playing it as well as they could, and Luminosity really stepping up.
Is there anything about Route 66, as this is the first time we've seen it here in the Overwatch Winter Premiere, that you would expect or like encourage viewers to like watch out for? Specific choke points, things that, you know, maybe specific heroes that work really well on this map. What do they need to be looking at coming into Route 66?
It's a very wide open map. There's a lot of space to work with. Normally teams will hang out first on top of that gas station maybe, so look for some things that have the ability to get up onto the high ground. Of course, you're almost always going to see D.Va, but something that can get in and deal with those guys that are up on top of the gas station. You know, you may even be seeing some Genji come out for Immortals with agilities. Potentially.
Hopefully.
Something, yeah. I mean, with the way he was
Tracer has a number of avenues there on the first point. The second point. Second point is it's a strange thing. There's a lot of buildings around, a lot of different objects. It can go either way relatively quickly there, but that first point, a lot of teams like to get up onto the gas station to hold, but with the tank meta, with the shield and D.Va, it's pretty easy to kind of negate that effect and keep the cart moving anyways, and where the gas station is, you don't necessarily have a firm place where you can put a Reinhardt there and hold from that unless you actually let him drop on the ground, which kind of negates the whole positional advantage. So Route 66 can be a difficult map to defend on the first one. Notice it seems to really go either way very, very quickly, though.
So we do have a player that's trying to reconnect to the lobby. That's why we're just taking a little bit of time here before we go to Route 66. Just want to make sure it's all squared away so we have a nice, fair match. And one player I really noted in the first map we saw in Gibraltar was Superblock, who we saw playing very well, especially on that first round. There's been a lot of great Reinhardt play today. That's
good to see. I mean, Reinhardt's making some impact plays. You can give him the nano boost, or just the earth shatters themselves can really change the course of a fight. He's a guy I hadn't watched too much before today, but he's really entertained me thus far, Superblock. I think he's making a pretty big impact on the side of Luminosity.
Yeah, I mean, calling all the way back to the very first point when they were on offense on Gibraltar, there's a moment there where Nami tried to charge him to take down his shield when a self-destruct was landing, and he was able to dodge it just enough so that self-destruct didn't pick him up, and that was a huge part of why they were able to actually capture that first point. If he'd been taken down, that would have been a lot of time off the clock.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see. These guys are going to be really tight, though, moving into Route 66. I'm interested to see, but I think both teams are just neck and neck right now. It's a tough one to call, but...
and we're moving on to another payload map.
Yeah.
So we're seeing similar Mac archetypes, and both teams, like you said, fairly even so far with kind of those bursts of greatness. Hedon taking us for a loop, switching all sorts of characters there. Crew going to play some Genji. We talked about that before. Super, of course, staying on Reinhardt. Well, they are on offense. We can't necessarily hold them that. Wouldn't be crazy to see a Widow here on the first part of Route 66. There's a number of different places to get that grapple and look for a pick into the back line. If you can take out a healer, that will matter. Along with just what we've talked about before, the zoning potential of Widow. Once you know that she can slingshot over a territory and get shots in, it really starts to take away from the overall things that you can do as a team on defense. As a healer, you can't get all that far away from tanks or cover, especially on the angles where Widow can come up and over. Widow having a number of different angles to really provide a lot of stopping power over the top side. Or sorry, over the front road there, right in front of the gas station. Immortals looks like they have rolled out onto the point here. Ethan still sticking on that Zenyatta. Been an absolute delight to watch him play so far. Agility's breaking out the Tracer, going to harass backline. Crew will stay on Genji. Icefelt switching to Tracer, looking at a bit of a dive comp with Zarya there to support on Luminosity. It should be a high impact first point here. A lot of characters can get around a lot of angles. Agility's going to have to make some big plays. Crew definitely going to be a big presence here on the top. Superblock going to go in on D.Va.
A lot of mobility out here on the side of Luminosity as Superblock is leading the charge. Icefelt is already able to get onto Ethan. That's a great way to start if you're on the side of Luminosity, getting that support pick. Agilities will avenge his teammate and take down Icefelt, and Spree actually coming through to take down Nami. So it is a one-player advantage for Luminosity thus far, and Crew comes through to take down that second support, Verbo. And Luminosity should be able to continue moving this cart forward quite comfortably as Immortals are looking to get their respawns and come back up to this first point. And Crew just hunting down Grimmerality. They are staggering these respawns. Crew is quite far forward, just keeping that pressure up. Ethan, though, giving it to him as I think he landed that headshot to finish him off. It's back and forth picks here, but Luminosity has been keeping this cart moving steadily. So far, it's only Nami and Hyped. Actually, Nami going down, and Ethan just sitting up top here on this high ground, dishing out the pain, but eventually he gets finished off by Icefelt. Superblock is cleaning up on a lot of damage for Luminosity. They are just getting all these Immortals players as they continue to filter onto the point, not really coming through as a team, but just, it seems at this point, just trying to stall as long as they can. Verbo's stuck back inside of the tunnel, just attempting to stand on the point if he can, but Icefeld is just finishing off all of these players. Look at this, Nami and Verbo, both. He had to have had probably 5 or more kills on that first point. And Luminosity, though, consistently kept that cart moving.
Luminosity already through the first point. They will have 4, almost 5 ultimates on their side. Meanwhile, Immortals with only an Earth Shatter getting very close to a self-destruct. Those could combine for a lot if they're able to get it. Also a Graviton in the hands of Grim Reality. Verbo pretty far out from a sound barrier, but not too far. But Luminosity with so many ultimates and Icefeld playing Tracer should be able to generate a Pulse Bomb relatively quickly with so many tanks to pound. Luminosity definitely looking strong moving into the second point.
It's going to be an Earthshatter through from Nami. He was able to take down Mineral. Immortals are striking back here, and Spree is caught with Hyped inside of this gas station, and he's going to get taken down, but Immortals
do or die situation there. Either keep him from getting in the mech, or when you're that low, it's absolutely done. Going in the other hand here, Luminosity, though, burning a lot of those ultimates and not getting exchanges for it. A huge pivotal moment for Immortals. They might be able to mount a better defense here on the second point. They will be able to mount a better defense, getting very close to a Graviton here. It's going to be happening any moment, along with a nano boost from Aethan. Aethan switching off of Zenyatta. That's pretty interesting. Icefeld probably causing too many problems when they were playing Tracer earlier, or perhaps it's just part of their strategy here. But here comes that Graviton.
No, got eaten up by the D.Va, completely eaten up. It's timed that poorly. The D.Va already had the defense matrix out there, and Grim Reality is going to find absolutely nothing with that. So now they will have a nano boost out onto Nami as he will charge Spree right into the wall. Grim Reality cleans up on the damage, but Nami dealt the most of it as there is an Earth Shatter out from Nami here as well, looking to finish off some of these players. Agility's cleaning up, taking down Crew and Super Block. Immortals holding on again despite wasting that Graviton. It doesn't matter. Grim Reality's almost back up on it anyway from that fight, and they continue to hold. I can't believe from the fight before the one we just saw that Luminosity didn't take it. With the ult advantage that they had, I'm going back a bit.
Ultimates, I know. Icefeld swallowing that Graviton was huge, but they still weren't able to make it all the way through. This second point with a position that Luminosity is will be very difficult. They've given up the high ground. The cart is a bit in front of them. They have made some progress here. They are getting a little bit of push. Farah going up in the air.
And it will be a Farah out. Cruz switches over to that. Spree is going to be able to get to. Grim Reality and Nami both go down. He even has his ultimate, but Crew getting a couple of his own onto the players of Immortals. And he wants to finish off Agilities here as well. Oh, trying to bring him back in.
The defense matrix so clutch coming out of Hyped. I'm hyped to watch Hype play. He was absolutely devastating in the last match.
Yeah, he has been quite the impact player himself. But this Farah so far is working for Crew and the rest of Luminosity, and there will be a self-destruct out. Icefeld sends that in, will pretty much just zone the players. No one goes down from it, but Agility strikes first, takes down Hedan, and 2 more picks come through from Luminosity. They're trading back and forth at the moment. Icefeld finds 2, and Agilities is doing some work as he has the nano boost on himself, and he has helped pick up 2, but Luminosity has the overall player advantage here on the cart. They have a lot of guys standing on it. Hype's the last one there, just trying to stall as long as he can, but you can't do much as a baby D.Va. Grim Reality coming back out from the high ground, trying to stall this further for Immortals. Verbo is with him and just getting his players back into the field. Sound barrier comes out for Immortals there to give them a little bit of extra life. Getting hooked in is Grim Reality, though, by Spree, and shut down. Earth Shatter from Nami. There is a self-destruct. Nami getting that shield up in time to save himself, and he's trying to finish off some of these players. Luminosity, there's only a few seconds left here, so Luminosity needs to make this happen. Super Block has already found 2 so far on this fight. Icefeld cleaning up onto Agilities as well. 3 players down on the side of Immortals. Grim Reality comes back up. He's on the high ground, trying to do whatever he can, but it's just a one-man here. Hyped is also on the cart. He won't survive for long, though, as baby D.Va. Luminosity in the dying seconds, getting the second point. They only have 1 minute and 20 seconds to work with into last.
Minute 20, pushing into that final point. The final point, pretty strong hold for the defensive side. Immortals down on ultimates. Luminosity with 2 in the chamber, an Earth Shatter and a nano boost. There's a lot to work with in that instance. It's not necessarily one of the best combos they want to land, but an Earth Shatter can stand alone. Nano boost can stand alone fairly well on its own. There comes the Earth Shatter, Super Block.
Superblock already able to get Verbo to start this off, which is great for Luminosity. The self-destruct comes through. Should be able to avoid most of it. Indeed, they will. Superblock getting himself healed up as he was quite low. Hyped, not finding anything as he just has to move backwards and meet up with the rest of his teammates. Agility's using that whole hog as well. And Spree was able to get Ethan, but Agility's also not finding too much with the whole hog. Immortals using quite a couple ultimates there for not all that much benefit as Luminosity is still moving forward with this cart. 25 seconds left.
Agilities.
To get last. Agilities goes down to Icefelt. And that's a one-pick advantage for Luminosity here as they can move forward. Hyped does have the nano boost on himself, and he's just getting melted by Crew. Doesn't matter whether you have that nano boost or not. Crew at full charge is just melting face here as Hype goes down as well. He's trying to move into this backline. The Earth Shatter comes out from Nami as there's really no one around to clean up on the picks though. Sound barrier for Luminosity, and here comes the Graviton Surge. Crew wants to take down Ethan, just melting him alive. And this counter sound barrier coming out, but there is going to be a nano boost onto Superblock. He's already able to find 3. That should be an easy secure for Luminosity. They get it just barely with 0 seconds left. They do get all 3 points nonetheless. Immortals now moving over to the offensive side.
Well, Immortals gonna have to 3-cap, hopefully with additional time if they don't want to draw this, if they want to push it all the way through. Of course they do. Crew there with a Graviton there at the end. Crew an absolute beast so far in this match, as well as on the last map.
Crew's quite the flexible player as well. You saw him on Genji at the beginning. He can play Zarya quite well. That's what he did a lot with Misfits back in the previous meta. He was a pretty prominent Zarya player for that team. So you can see him play a large variety of heroes, which is always a great thing, especially for Luminosity. So will be a switch of sides. Immortals now trying their hand on the offense. Luminosity was able to get all 3 points, but it was in overtime. So Immortals would be feeling pretty good if they can get all 3 with a little bit of extra time in their time bank. And if we take a look at what Luminosity is bringing to the table on the defensive side, they are showing a Torbjorn for Hedan. I'm not sure if that's going to stick or not. He's still hanging out by
He's putting it in the back. He's got to be.
Hey, little buddy, what are you doing?
He's got to be playing a
What are you
prank on
doing,
us.
bud?
Go back. Go back. We all love the Torbjorn.
I love him.
Or not. He's probably going to drop back
It's great. He's a
and change with enough
little
time
guy.
left. He didn't go all the way to the point. If he was pilling it on the gas station, I'd take it somewhat seriously.
But we'll see. Yeah, there we go. He knows he's got to stick to his honor roll.
He knows
be
we're
meeting up
gullible.
with the rest.
That's what he knows.
Yeah, well, here we go. Luminosity is now on the defensive side, and Immortals looking to bring it out here with the Tracer and Agilities on the Soldier 76 as well. We saw this earlier today. They like to have this double DPS comp on this map in particular too. So Agilities will just be sitting up on top of the bridge, spraying away as they move the cart forward to initiate this first fight. You already have a couple of Immortals players pushed far forward. It is going to be Hyped and Grim Reality. They are both there trying to, they're behind or down low, but pretty close to Luminosity. Want to add a little bit of pressure here as Hyped comes through to try and break up this hold that's on top of the gas station, just creating a little bit of space, but Nami starts things off to take down Superblock as all players now have dropped down to the low ground, and Icefelt getting charged as well, getting shoved out of his mech suit, and there was already an Earth Shatter out from Nami. Grim Reality is able to come through and clean house. Him and Agilities have made the hold happen for Immortals as they finish off Mineral there as well. So Immortals starting off pretty good as they are actually on the offense, but they are moving that card forward nonetheless. Great.
Looks like Luminosity is trying to mount a defense here on the last point. They do have enough time to get into contest. Immortals going to have to push that through if they want to keep their time advantage up. Roadhog coming around the right side. Nami trying to stay on the card. Superblock stepping up.
Here we go. There's a self-destruct out, and there will be a nano boost as well coming out from Hedan, and there's a couple ultimates up still from Immortals, but Luminosity are the ones getting all of the picks. Icefelt with 2, Spree with 1. Immortals are striking back. Grim Reality and Agility still doing work for Immortals, but Luminosity holding strong on the cart for now as they will keep them from capping the first point. Immortals just going to regroup and get themselves all together before the next fight. 3 ultimates up for Luminosity at the moment. Immortals with nothing yet, but Ethan soon will have Transcendence. They're moving themselves in. A little bit of high ground control, trying to come back from Luminosity. Spree and Icefelt both up there.
It's going to be a huge problem for Immortals with 3 ultimates on the side of Luminosity. They haven't captured it yet. They've been backed out and repelled. A big pick by Spree.
Already 2 going the way of Luminosity, but 2 strike back for Immortals. Hyped and Agilities both able to pick up Crew and Hedan, so it will be a 4v4 fight as they come right back onto the cart here. Everybody just swinging away with their hammers on it. Agility's just sitting in the back on top of the high ground, dishing out damage. The shield's still up, so he can't do too much until it's down, but here we go. This is his opportunity. Nami goes down to Crew. There is a self-destruct out there, but being able to mitigate that. 3 picks for Luminosity. Hyped was one of the last few that was in there, and he's finally getting himself out. Immortals having a bit of difficulty getting through this first point. They only have a minute left. They have 3 ultimates,
Immortals.
though.
Yep.
So they will have a bit of an ult advantage coming into this.
For Earth Shatter, Attack Visor, a Sound Barrier. Luminosity coming up with none right now. Immortals looking good, like they're going to be able to take this first point, but taking a very long time, and a big Earth Shatter coming out.
Huge Earth Shatter from Nami, getting the charge as well. There it is, 4 picks for Immortals. That's exactly what they needed. Nami coming through big with that Earth Shatter. They should be able to cap up this point. Crew is still in there, just trying to stall as long as he can, to no avail though. Nami, MVP of that first point, able to keep Immortals in this game. They only have 2 minutes to get through the second phase, but they at least have a shot.
Luminosity working to start mounting their defense here. They're going to need to contest very early. Grim Reality and Hyped on the outside, trying to keep tabs on where Luminosity can be coming from. Immortals waiting for that gate to open. Feels like an eternity whenever you're on that side. Hyped's getting in front of the cart, blocking a lot of those shots. Agility's trying to keep pressure on from the other side. Luminosity moving into position. They do want to hold for every second they can in order to convert this map into a win. Getting it close to the last point, but Immortals not even to the second one yet. Immortals getting pressed back. Tracer in the back line. She's going to bounce off, but a huge pulse bomb on Nami.
Look at this though, Immortals striking back. It should be a 3v3 fight on the cart at the moment. Agility's able to take down Crew. Grim Reality. These 2 from Immortals are still going at it as they have been all map long. And they will continue to lay in the pain. Icefelt on the cart. Grim Reality gets the finishing blow there. Immortals, after a long and scrappy fight, will be able to prevail and continue to move this forward. Only a minute to cap the next point, though. Luminosity will have another shot on the defense as they come in. Self-destruct and a nano boost at the ready as they work their way out for this defense, which is going to be crucially important.
Very close to an Earth Shatter as well. That will be gigantic. Notice Nami's on top of the cart. That's a dangerous situation with an Earth Shatter looming on the other side.
All Spree going down already by Hype, though. There will be a nano boost onto Super Block, but he's not really doing all that much with it, not swinging away. There's not too many people around him. Ethan and Agility's both finding 1 Super Block, goes down. Immortals getting all the picks that they need. Grim Reality still making plays happen. And Luminosity won't have too many players left here. Look at Grim Reality, man. This guy is just going off between him and Agilities and Nami as well. I mean, this whole team Immortals really showing up on offense here. It's taking a bit of time. They are making their way through. A minute 40. We may see this one come down to the wire.
Hyped causing a lot of problems as well, playing D.Va all over Luminosity. Luminosity with 2 ultimates on their side, almost 3, a Pulse Bomb and an Earth Shatter. Immortals with 3, getting very close to 4. So they're pushing around the bend into the final point. They do have quite a ways to go with a minute and 21 left on the clock. They do have to cap it fully. They do stand a chance. Luminosity starting to contest.
Immortals have been winning the fights when it counts. Ethan goes down first. Already 2 in favor of Luminosity. Agilities will get 1 back on their side. It's 5v4 for Luminosity for now, as Immortals will just be content to regroup. Their respawn point is very close, so there's no need for them to go crazy. They can just get their guys back. They only have 50 seconds to work with. Grim Reality with that Pulse Bomb. 4 ultimates up in total for Immortals, and Agilities will be getting that Attack Visor here shortly. Sound Barrier for Immortals as they initiate on this fight. Counter Sound Barrier as well. Earth Shatter out from Super Block, able to get 2. Grim Reality and Ethan both go down, as now they just continue to scrap it out on the cart. There is a Attack Visor from Agilities. Does get the final blow onto Super Block, but it is a few down on each side. Immortals trying to get those respawns quickly. They only have 20 seconds. If they can't get this cap, Luminosity is going to move into the finals to play against Complexity. Immortals needs to make something happen right now. They will have 1 last dash attempt just as they did before. So we will see if they can make it happen. They come in. They only have one ultimate for the time being. There is a nano boost on its way shortly, and here comes a self-destruct to initiate from Icefelt, trying to just zone them out if they can, starting to work in. Earthshatter comes through as well as Nami charges. 2 picks here for Immortals. There's going to be a nano boost as well onto Nami. Immortals hanging on for now, but still Luminosity is going to get those respawns. They're going to have to keep this consistently all through the end. They need to keep it going if they want to get this cap. It is going to be tight now as the respawns.
Luminosity just respawning, 2 left to hit the map. They are going to have to contest as soon as possible, but they will be a little bit staggered. Immortals putting a lot of pressure on them as they're coming out. Immortals getting very close to the final point here. Luminosity stepping in front. It's really about to go off.
Luminosity on their way back in, out of the spawn. They have all 6 with them. Super Block a bit hurt at the moment, taking those heals. Nami's the first one to go down. Big Earthshatter comes out from Super Block as they're trying to clean up on the kills. Already 2 down for Immortals. Will Luminosity to be able to hang on here? Self-destruct out from Hype. He's able to get 2. Takes down Spree and Mineral. The Immortals are still alive on this fight. Hype's got to make some more happen as he takes down Icefelt as well. Hype is going nuts here, but the nano boost comes out on the side of Luminosity, and their respawn is very close here, so it may make things tough for Immortals. They're still hanging on. Graviton is out on the cart as well. Nami with a huge Earthshatter. There was a sound barrier right before it, but no, Luminosity's cleaning up on picks left and right. 4 down for Immortals right now, and Luminosity hangs on to move into the finals against Complexity. Oh my.
Luminosity looked like they were on the ropes there.
Yeah,
but they were able to pull it back.
What a match there as we see them able to hold on. Luminosity taking 2 maps in a row to qualify for our finals. And my goodness, I want to point out Crew here on this map. He played Genji, then switched to Pharah when the Genjis didn't seem to be working out as well, then switched to Tracer to be able to kind of get back to the point quickly to keep it going there on the second point, and then had the Zarya at the very end. 4 different characters throughout the whole map. Impressive play. And it was a huge difference maker.